What up YouTube, SpikeRobot here with another video, and this time it's going to be another entry in my series Games I Enjoy Playing. And this time we're going to talk about a game called Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer. Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer is a hack and slash third-person shooter hybrid video game that was released on October 28, 2003 in North America and November 21st, 2003 in Europe, exclusively for the Xbox. As you can see, this is another game that has elements of dark fantasy. As you can tell, I enjoy this game a lot. I will get into the reasons why. The story is about a group of different fighters going up against werewolves, vampires, zombies, basically any type of creature you would find in a horror movie. To be honest, the story is not that great. Now, I really do dig the dark fantasy elements. They're pretty fucking awesome. But the actual story is not very memorable. The characters are mostly entertaining, though. But the main problem I have with it is it's kind of hard to follow. There's really not a whole lot of cutscenes. Because of that, you do kind of lose interest in the story. But, you know, gameplay is more important, so let's get on to that. The gameplay is pretty fucking awesome. You get to choose between several different characters to play as. I spent the entire time playing as Spencer Deuce Wyatt, mainly because he's the strongest. Each of the characters have their own stats, but I can't wait to try some of the other ones out. You do get to use blades and swords, as well as a variety of guns. It is generally not going to get you very far if you just use the weapons you start out with throughout the entire time. There are ways to access the other weapons that you get in the environment. You also do get a few power-ups for your main gun. These include fire, entrapment, poison, holy power, etc. These do help with taking down enemies a little bit if you don't have ammo for the more powerful guns. But the game is pretty generous with weapons for the more powerful guns. The game really does require you to figure out which weapons to use at certain times. If the enemies are right in front of you, it's actually a bad idea to use guns, so you'll have to use your melee weapon, especially if they are tougher enemies. So yeah, there's a little bit of strategy in here. The levels are generally well designed, although there is no spoken dialogue for when you get your objectives. You have to read the text in order to know what to do. This could be a problem for people who have difficulties reading, but when you know what to do, it is pretty easy. It is okay if you die during a level too, because you will respawn quite a good amount of times, and you can finish from that spot. However, if you die too many times, then you have to play the entire level all over again. This can be a big fucking problem for the longer levels. But I found sticking with the game more rewarding than the experience with Dark Watch. It also does help that the game is pretty gory, and I'm a gore enthusiast. Yeah. I will say the difficulty balancing is all over the place. Some levels are pretty easy, but there are levels that are really goddamn hard. Especially the Santa Claus level. That has a really fucking hard boss at the end. Most of the bosses range from pretty simple to really hard, much like the levels themselves. It is not a game that starts out easy but becomes harder. It's kind of it's a little all over the place. I will say though, it never gets so hard that it becomes frustrating. As a matter of fact, the final boss is probably the easiest boss in the game. That is really fucking odd. You would think it would be the hardest, but no, it's really easy. although it was after a really hard level, so you could see this as an apology for all the frustration you endured in that previous level. Besides, a level being a chocolate frosting covered cakewalk is my preferred poison to a level being a fucking torture device. So overall, despite all this game's flaws, I still think it's a good game. It has some genuinely good design, and I had a lot of fun playing it. This is another game I would look forward to playing again. If you have not played this game, I would recommend finding a copy and playing it to see if you enjoy it. Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer is one hell of a 2000s dark fantasy fun time. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. Anyway, I'm Spike Raw. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel, and feel free to support me on Patreon and follow me on Instagram. Take it easy. On the Freedom Jingos.